Thank you for coming by, Sandra Peace Gen Extra. All right, I think that light is better. I hope everybody's having a great, thoughtful Tuesday. And this video, I actually had another video planned for tonight, but what I did was push that one back to Thoughtful Tuesday of next week. And then what I'm going to do here is just talk about what I've been thinking about lately. Okay. And then I had some topics as well. But I got a chance to have lunch. Well, it was actually tea and just like these little snacks. There is a new black owned tea bar and apothecary. It smells so good in there. I got a lot of ideas about how to decorate. And she had a lot of teacups and things like that on the wall. It smelled really amazing in there. She had a lot of couches and places to sit, chairs. And then on Tuesdays, she brings in lunch. Today she had chicken salad on croissant, and they have hot tea, cold tea. They brew their own teas. The cold teas they put in a separate bottle. It's really nice. Hello, Mama Bees. Thank you so much for stopping in to Sandra Peace Gen Extra. This was my Thoughtful Tuesday, but I actually changed that. I pushed that forward to next week. And then I had a separate What's Next, which I put on the thumbnail. So, and this is involving my property preservation business. I'm going to combine everything together. Hello, Capricorn Flower. Thank you for stopping in. I'm going to pull up so I can actually see. I'm recording on my iPad, and then it's funny, the comments are somewhere else, so I don't get to type an answer in there, but I'll answer from here. So the person I had lunch with he was in property management for a lot of years, so he knows a lot about real estate and that sort of thing. And I've talked to him before about my investment property. I took Melody Cherie's class last January and started the business probably the end of last February. So I've been at it for about a year or so. Now, the last job we've actually accepted has been October, and I haven't accepted any jobs lately just because of the environment. And this is another reason why I'm leaning toward, I don't know whether or not I'm interested in even continuing with it, because, and I shared it in a story time one time, I'm in a blue city in a red state, and I think I've shared with everybody I'm in North Carolina. So if I go an hour or so from my area, sometimes I run into things that I don't really feel comfortable being around. And my team, it's myself, it's my niece, one of my nephews helps when he can, my sisters are available to help. There's a few other people. There's a lawn service that I use, Latinos, another lawn service. Hello, network specialist. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for stopping in. And it's just, my business is made up, it's a small business, woman-owned, minority contractor. And in this environment, I don't know that I feel comfortable going into certain areas. And I don't know, I'm just at a place. And the reason why this is triggered now is because we're not just the latest, not just the election. We're at a place now where my taxes are due. I usually just do my own taxes. I use TurboTax or I use another program that I can just put in my information. But with a small business, I have a tax ID, a separate business name. I have to file that separately. I've never done that before. I could study and do it, but it is going to take quite a lot of time, or I could try to find an accountant. I'll probably just file for an extension while I figure that out. So that's one thing I'm thinking of. Also in North Carolina, there are small business fees that you pay. It's cheap. It's like $200 a year for the business license. So that's a separate fee that you pay. And then there is also monthly insurance. The down payment is like 200 and something. And this is for anyone considering property preservation class. So the class, you get it at a 50% off. That's an amazing price. But there are fees. There is money that you're going to pay out after that to have your business. So you can either have it by yourself if you started with a partner. I don't have a partner. My friend I spoke with today asked me if I wanted a partner. I told him no, because I don't know if I'm going to fold up the business or not. And I don't know that I want to bring in a partner, another person that I would have to consider as far as me accepting jobs and things like that. So let me pull this up so I can see the chat a little bit better. So that's where I am with that. I'm just at an uncertain place. Now, I'll tell you about myself. When I get an idea to do something or to not do something, every time I follow my first inclination, my first mind, I come out okay. If I take in too much information, I end up doing something different. It doesn't usually end up well for me. I want to pull up Mama B's comment that I just saw. And that's something that my father used to always say, follow your first mind. And that does work for me. Okay, here are the comments. Mama B says it's not difficult with TurboTax business program. It is a little more expensive than the basic TurboTax program. Okay, thank you for that feedback. Because when I log on to TurboTax from my credit union, I get 25 or 30% off. So that's a consideration too. Mom 59 works. It's best to work as you feel because it seems to death work for you, sis. Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah, you've known me over the years, helped raise me, and that is one of the things I I have in my mind what I want to do, but I'm a person. I accept feedback. I accept other information. I consider other things, but I do always go with what I'm leaning toward, and that usually ends up okay for me. So that that's where I'm at now because it's the time of year. Spring brings a lot of new beginnings. There's a lot of things I need to do as far as my house. I've been here. It's a little over 20 years. It's a little over 20 years. So there's things that I want to get done around the house. I'm just at a time, spring is a time of upheaval. And then in the country, the whole country's going through time of upheaval and things like that. So that's another reason I try to have like fun, funny, interesting topics. And then sometimes, of course, politics and things like that. I saw Toot Latrice come in. I want to see her comments so I can speak. Everybody speak to Toot Latrice. Thank you for stopping into the chat. Good afternoon, mods and chat. She's speaking to everybody. Please welcome Toot Latrice to the chat, network specialist, everyone that came in that I spoke to before. Mama Bees, Capricorn Flower, one of my moderators. Also, Mama Bees is a moderator as well. Thank you all for stopping in. I'm just kind of picking my own brain. I'm all over the place today because I knew I was going to get to have tea, and it was tea and a little bit of lunch with a friend of mine that I can always ask different questions. A really smart person. Anytime I get to sit down with a really smart person, I start picking their brain, and they do the same thing with me. I give a lot of information and feedback too. So I thank you all for being here, listening to it as well. So I just got some good information about TurboTax. So with the business program, I probably can still do it myself. The first thing I'll do is get an extension and then decide what I want to do with that. Okay, so that feels a little bit better. I think I'm on the right track as far as what I'm going to do. Another great thing I have coming up, spring break is in about a month. So it's going to be myself, my sister, one of the nieces. I think we have a total of 4 children that are going. So we have a 3 cabins, I think. So we're going to fly out of LA. We're going to fly to LA and cruise out of LA. Now, had we known all this other stuff would be going on, we probably would have did a closer cruise port. This summer, our family cruise, we're blessed enough, we'll be going out of Baltimore. So we can drive there if we decide to. But I try not to worry about flights and things like that. It's just something that if something's going to happen, it happens. But we just wish for traveling mercies and leave that there. But when I'm at sea, I do get a lot of time to think. I like to go out in the morning, get coffee or pastries or something like that, and just sit in the air and just think. Have music in my ears or something like that, and just spend some time out on the ocean. That helps me a lot. Okay, now I have a few topics today. I think I'll start with the birthdays because birthdays are fun. This is Pisces season. I have a brother that's Pisces, and I missed his birthday, March 5th. So I'll have to talk to him. But this morning we have our happy 62nd to the beautiful. This is the only Miss America that a lot of people remember. Really, she is amazing. She's 62 years old. I can't believe she was crowned in 1984. She made history when she did that, and we know what they did right after. And she's been our forever Miss America ever since. So happy birthday to Miss America. Vanessa Williams is 62 years old, y'all. She lost her mother at the end of last year. So that is sad for her, but I'm sure she's having a day of reflection today. Also, we have another queen that is 55 years old today. This is Queen Latifah, otherwise known as Dana Owens. She's a media mogul. She's on The Equalizer. She's an actress, rapper, singer. So happy 55th to Queen Latifah. I didn't know that she was a Pisces. So that's two birthdays today. Two people that I really like a lot. I admire their work ethic. I admire their work and everything that they do. This chat keeps falling back down. Two says she's used TurboTax since 1999. That's a good endorsement. I've used it quite a few years myself, but I use it on the easier forms. This is the first year that I have a small business. In years past, I've used one. They have one for investment properties, so I've used it with that. So I think I'm going to stick with them. Just do the extension first because they make it really easy to submit that. So I'll do the extension first, and then I'll figure out if it's something I want to mess with or try to get an accountant for the small business income, because that's a 1099s that they have to send me for jobs that we've done. Okay, and I see Vanessa Williams citing from one of my mods, Mama 59 Works, my sister. Vanessa Williams, I met her at a church in Florida with her family. She has a beautiful family. I remember that first husband of hers. I didn't care for him. She married him around the time she was going through this scandal. And it seems like he was a little bit older than her, but he was real buttoned down. He was an attorney or a publicist or something like that. And he was a manager at one point. And she married him. She has her children with him. But after she got out of that whole mess and her career came back and we embraced her like we do, because they tried to bury that lady over a few pictures. And you can see pictures like that. You can turn on a Netflix show and you're looking at everything. But the way they treated her over that, I couldn't believe it. I don't know where I saw it. Somebody had the Penthouse, and when I saw it, I was like, what? This is what they're talking about? It wasn't that much. She kissed a girl. I think she showed her body. It really wasn't that much for them to have that girl lose her crown over that. And then she had to give this crying apology. It was terrible. It was kind of defiant, though. I mean, she was in tears, but her mom was with her. She was standing tall because she didn't do anything wrong. She said she didn't even sign a release. And that's why she didn't think that they could release those pictures. As soon as she became Miss America, the guy saw what he had and who it was, and he sold it to Penthouse. One Crafty Sister is in here. Hey, One Crafty Sister. I was able to ride with One Crafty Sister to a vineyard when we went to Atlanta. We had so much fun. Welcome to the chat. What's the name of the tea house in Charlotte? It is Pauline's Tea Bar. Pauline's Tea Bar and Apothecary. Isn't that cute? And it's nice. It's black owned. I think that was her daughter. I should have asked her. The one lady that was in there today was manning the whole place, but she looks like the owner. But she was young, so I think it was one of her family members. But it's beautiful. You get to choose what you want. They bring it out to you. We sat on the patio. It was really nice. And it is off of a main intersection. Wilkerson is near the airport, and Wilkerson used to be an area that was kind of sketchy, especially certain times of day. But now they're building it up so much, and it's really nice. And she's done a really nice job with it. And the way she had it decorated was beautiful. I'm getting ideas for what I want to do within my house. Everyone's still speaking to each other. Welcome to the chat, everyone. Okay, so we have this. Now I'll get into some topics that I had looked at this morning. Now this is another day. This is about the orange clown. He scrapped a key Biden-era policy that increased minimum wage for federal contractors. So that is something that's crazy. So Republican leaders understand the GOP has earned a reputation for championing interests of the wealthy, but occasionally make the case that the party has changed. But we don't see any change. We don't see any change because I think the minimum wage for federal contractors is something like $15-something, because the actual federal minimum wage is still $7.25. I can't believe that. A lot of states has increased it, but the one for federal contractors was $15, and now he scrapped that rule. So that's a really childish way to govern. Anything that Biden has done, he wants to reverse it and do something different. And we know that Biden did a lot of good. He was able to help save the car industry. He and President Obama at the time, Vice President Biden, saved the auto industry and just did a lot of good for the economy. And this person has been able to wreak havoc and basically take a chainsaw to it in the course of a couple of months. The other thing that recently happened with this person, Arlington Cemetery, we have Kirsten Gillibrand. I'm not a fan of her. She's one of the senators out of New York. She makes a lot of noise, but she To me, she's not a fighter. Her or Chuck Schumer. That's her partner, senator. So she says it's absolutely shameful, the erasing of history. This administration should be focusing on restoring their cuts to Veterans Administration. So that's Arlington Cemetery, where it's an honor to be buried there. They have a lot of veterans that are there. So what they've done is that they have taken away the information that would give people, when you go to the cemetery, you can look towards certain sites and things like that. And there's a lot of veterans, private citizens that were veterans that served the country that are buried out there. And they, of course, targeted women, Latinos, and Black veterans. So that's something that's pretty terrible. I have this app called, I think I'll if I haven't put it in the discussion, I'll put it on to my discussion points, and it's called 5apps. You go to 5apps.org, and when you put in your address, it will pull up who your representatives are, your 2 senators and your congressperson. And it's easy for you to get in touch with them, either calling, email. Even if in North Carolina, we have 2 knuckleheads. They're senators. They're both Republican. I can't stand either one, but I'll call them or text or email them whenever I get ready, because they should still hear from everybody. I don't care if you voted for them or not. They still represent the state. So Mama Bees spoke to One Crafty Sister. Capricorn Flower, good advice. Ladies, go get your real ID. Yes, traveling within the country, you need that at an airport. That's something that is going to be a requirement. And then it's also DMV. We know what the lines are. So if you don't already have a real ID, that is something that you need. Mama 59 Works, my sister in mod, said that, she said, thanks, Capricorn Flower. I'm going to get my real ID on Friday. Reminded once again, my husband keeps telling us that. Yeah, even to fly, you're going to need a certain ID, which is the real ID. It's a little more, other than your driver license, it has more information on it. If you don't have a passport, get one. We had a walk-in center that you could just go in and get it back within a couple of weeks without even paying expedited. The last time we went to try to get that done for 2 family members, they didn't have the staff for that. They had a QR code on the door. We had to make an appointment, and I think their appointment's coming up the first week in April. So they don't need passports for the cruise, but they'll be back within a couple of weeks after we get back. They'll definitely have them for the summer one. Hey, T-Talk with you, girl. Thank you for stopping in. So there's a lot of things that we need to do just in preparation, and should have been done anyway, that we're doing now. Like with the people that stopped shopping February 28th, which was myself. We were doing the 1-day Target thing, and now it's been extended. People are doing 40 days. They're using it as like a 40-day fast. And I have found that I don't shop for anything other than what's needed. I order my groceries, things like that. I don't really care to go into the store like that now. And so I'm not. And I'm saving a little money, paying off things. I still see I see a lot of posts where people are still getting student loans forgiven. So that is amazing. That's something that happened for me last year. And I even got a refund check. I didn't have to fill out anything else or do anything else. Once I submitted the request to have the loan forgiven, they sent me an email that it had been done. The first people to contact me was the credit bureau. They said, congratulations, we noticed a decrease in the use of credit. And I hadn't paid anything off, so I wondered about that. And then a couple of days later, I got an email, congratulations, your student loan has been forgiven. And then probably about 2 months later, I got a check of overpaid interest and things like that. Now, just to put it in perspective, I got my first student loan when I was 18 years old. I went away to college, and I'd only borrowed around $19,000 or so over the course of 4 to 5 years I spent in college. By the time I was in my late 40s, I still owe those people $38,000, and that's paying on it. There were times when I put it in forbearance, but I was still paying on it and still owed that much money. So there's some kind of thing that's crazy. Mama 59 Works is one of my moderators, giving another testimony. I got mine forgiven, finally. Amazing. T-Talk said hello, but she is driving, so she's not going to give the individual greetings, but that is her individual greeting. So we want her to be safe. One Crafty Sister, I read that Sandra P., the orange man, is wild. What he doing to the veterans is so absurd. Yeah, well, and then I don't know why the veterans that supported him expect him to respect veterans. This is a person, they looked all in he and also his family's background. They haven't found any history of service as far as the military in 5 generations. And that sounds crazy, but I believe it. He seems like a coward just on his face. And then the unelected South African, we don't know anything about him and his background either. But we know they seem to despise veterans in the military. And I wonder why on the bases they play Fox News all day, every day. And the Republicans just get away with saying that we're for the troops, we're for the troops, but they do a lot of damage to the troops. And they put the troops in a lot of harm's way. For instance, I think isolating this country as they're doing is going to end up being a detriment to us. Even allies are mad at the United States. France talking about they might take the Statue of Liberty back. And that fool, he may try to get it taken off of where it's at and send it back. I could see him spending money to do that because he's just that petty and ignorant. So, okay, so there was Arlington Cemetery. Now this is about an asylum seeker. Her name is Aviana Sanchez. She's 22 years old. She said her husband went to his routine ICE appointment and he didn't come out. So she now believes he's one of the hundreds of Venezuelan men who were sent by planes to El Salvador under the Alien Enemies Act. So that's crazy. This man had an actual appointment. Now, if you're a gang member or a violent criminal, you're not going to an actual ICE appointment. So she said it's a routine appointment. And I know that's true. I know people that are here on green cards and things like that. My ex-husband had a green card. He was able to like legally work and then leave 6 months at a time. There's different things that they can do. And they're mainly working people. I'm sure there's some gang members and stuff, that people that come in under the radar and get in more trouble here. But I don't believe for a second that the plane full of people that they sent to El Salvador, all of them were gang members or bad, because they actually had a video of ICE shaving these men's head, probably to make them look more menacing. And they'll say, oh, well, we didn't want to worry about lice and all this kind of stuff because they're on a plane. I don't think that's it. I think they did it to make them look like gang members, because they were looking at tattoos. Now, one of the people, they said he had a gang tattoo, but the agents didn't speak Spanish or read Spanish. And another person was saying, no, that's about something about his madre, his mother. So you saying that this man's in some kind of gang, but he has a probably one of those I love mom tattoos, but it's in Spanish. It's just a disgrace. It's really terrible. And this country is paying the Venezuelans to take in those people. And they send them to a supermax. So imagine someone who's just out at work. I'm not speaking for the gang members. If they caught up a gang member or 2 or 10, okay, I have no sympathy. But for the other people, these working people that I know are scooped up in this mess, that's scary. And there's also this lady, I follow this Jamaican lady. She has a YouTube channel, and she's a green card holder. She goes back and forth. She's building a house in Jamaica, and I listen because I love her patois. When she gets excited, it comes out really thick. But she is advising people. She says self-deport if you can do it, because when they take you, you don't get to take anything with you. You don't get to warn anybody, call anybody, none of that. So she's getting all her stuff together just in case. She was already building a home, and she's been in Florida for years already. And she's kind of at the end of the time that she wants to leave anyway. I work with someone who's doing the same thing. He and his wife are a couple of years from retirement, and they already have a home built in Jamaica. They get ready to get up out of here. Capricorn blessing. That was a blessing. Capricorn Flowers telling me that was a blessing. It actually was. It took so much stress off me and allowed me to buy a work truck that I use for business. Even though I'm considering, and I'll share what I decide to do with the business. If I decide to fold it up or just slow things down or whatever I decide to do with that, I'll see. Okay, so we spoke about Biden. Okay, here is another, this is interesting. It's a current topic because we had it last month. You know, I'm in North Carolina. I'm on the border of South Carolina. So we had a lot of wildfires. So this article is from South Carolina's Daily Gazette. South Carolina's wildfire prevention team seeks state aid to keep educating homeowners. So they already anticipating, and this is a red state, y'all, South Carolina. North too, but South Carolina is really red. They have a Governor McMaster. He's a Trump sycophant. He love that man. But they are already anticipating getting less money from the federal government for things like wildfires. So their South Carolina Forestry Commission, they worked to put out the Carolina forest fire that started earlier in March. So they said they requested $345,000 of the 25-26 state budget to cover the salaries and benefits. That's not a lot for that specialty field like that. 3 men or 3 scientists, whomever that is, $345,000 between the 3 of them. That's their salaries and benefits. So that's something that they would probably usually get from the feds, but now they're anticipating not getting it. And they go around, they educate homeowners, and they also go to the areas that are likely to be at risk and tell them the best way to kind of avoid it and take care of it. So that's kind of sad. Okay, let me see where I'm at. Oh, we're at 25. So this is going to be a dirty 30, everybody, for my Thoughtful Tuesday. Thank you so much. And thank you for listening to my introduction where I was just giving a little bit of reflection and thinking about what I'm going to do. I'm almost 80 to 85% sure of what I'll do. Okay, now this is an interesting thread that I saw from a lady that she says, I work in AARP's legal division. The men are dying alone, sick, and penniless. The women have wills, power of attorneys, and family members who cherish them. It's almost like being a kind person who prioritizes their family pays off. Wow. So that, okay, here's another comment. She said, black men would rather argue with a woman over why this is than actively change it. Arguing isn't going to change the fact that y'all end up in nursing homes early with no family visiting or soup kitchen because no one trusts you in their homes or is left to care for you. Stop relying on women to figure it out. Turn to your fellow man. And then someone else made a post that said, I'm a nurse. I see this often. You can also tell who showed up for their children. Wow. So if you have any of these younger black men in your family that are just interested in running around, instead of building with one woman, finding someone suitable for him and maybe getting married or just building a family together, he think he going to be the old man in the club. The old man don't end up in the club. He going to end up in one of these rehab facilities alone with the nurses taking care of him and then putting posts up talking about him. Because single black women, I'm actually divorced by choice, but I have poured into the people around me, and I don't ever anticipate where I would need somebody and not have them, and I feel sorry for people that have reached that point. So don't be the old man in the club. Advise these younger men. That's not the thing to do. One Crafty Sister, Real Talk of Grace and Mercy, thank you so much. She's a prayer warrior. I love listening to her in the morning. She's the sweetest lady. I also met her in Atlanta. Thank you for stopping in, Real Talk of Grace and Mercy. Greet everybody. Greet her, please. Thank you for stopping in. One Crafty Sister says exactly. And for to be okay. I'm sorry. This comment keeps leaving. For people to be okay with this man is crazy. They basically kidnapped these people who are not criminals. That's the thing, One Crafty Sister. I figured that as soon as they said it was a few hundred on the plane. And then with them cutting their hair and everything like that. And then that young lady that spoke to her local paper, she said her husband had an appointment, goes down there, and they haven't seen him in days. And that's happening across the country. And then it's so funny. I'm seeing a lot of these Orange Clown supporters on there talking about, well, I didn't know my wife was going to get deported. Why didn't you know your wife was going to get deported? You trying to make them get somebody else? No, you too. If you try to dig one grave, you better dig two. That's what I've always heard. Okay, let me see if I had any more good commentary. Because I always like to end on a good note. All right, and I already did my Married to Medicine review, so that's posted. If you haven't watched that, watch that. There was a good one today by the network specialist. That was pretty good. I didn't get to finish listening to all of Sweet Tea's. She has a YouTube channel. She puts a lot of good information on there, but she's kind of long-winded, so it was kind of long. I didn't finish it, but she had some stuff in there about what happened like right after the scene that we looked at. So I found that really interesting. And then I already did the birthdays. Let me see if there's not anything more in here. I'm just going to go ahead and end the live. Oh, okay. Let me see. This was a good one. And it is about our girl. Oh, okay. No, wait a minute. This is a better one. These ladies, this is going to be a Queen's tour. So we have Stephanie Mills, Patti LaBelle, Shaka Khan, and Gladys Knight. I'm glad Gladys Knight is doing better. I saw her and she didn't feel well. Network specialist says she started watching the video and didn't finish it either. Yeah, she goes on a little bit, right? I mean, she's engaging and I like to watch her, but sometimes, unless I'm doing something else, I'm not going to just sit there and watch it. But I do like the fact that Sweet Tea is smart enough to actually put that YouTube channel up, just like Dr. Heavenly has done, and she can give her side of events that happen. So that was really smart of her and savvy of her to do that. Because that's a big part of the reason why Dr. Heavenly has been able to gain all of these fans, that they seem to be okay with almost anything she does. She can cuss somebody out, they think it's hilarious. Threaten somebody, they think that's funny. Call somebody a PDF and he's a trained physician and there's no history of that or even a whimper of that, and they're okay with that. So I think those days are coming to an end. Okay, I think that was it. Oh, this is not good news, it's just news. This used to be one of my favorite stores, Target. They've reportedly lost nearly $1 billion after the boycott and DEI rollbacks. And the bad thing about it is, nobody even asked them to do all that. They just removed the DEI initiatives because of perceived threats of lawsuits. Because we always know they have their shelves, they search for minority businesses, women businesses, and that's something that they were always proud of. And I was always happy to shop there because of it. And now look at them. They're losing more money than anybody else because some of these other companies that we know are no good, like a Walmart, we didn't expect anything of them. And then Target jumps out there and lost almost $1 billion. But that's helped me save money. I haven't really gone back to shopping like I used to. And we're right at 31 minutes. Thank you so much. I had 11 in the chat and I have 16 likes. So someone has already been here and left. And I appreciate that, everyone. Also, Team Replay. Make sure you leave a heart or leave a comment about a topic or just anything to show that you stopped by. And I appreciate you. Thank you all for stopping by Sandra P's Gen Extra. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day and have a great, thoughtful Tuesday. Thank you. Goodbye.